So let's begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So last week we were very fortunate to have Arif Saab go through and explain to us around how to use AI and some practical prompts and examples. This week's part two. What I need to make you aware is that this kind of masterclass it's normally about £1,500 for six sessions like this. So this kind of time you would normally pay about 250 £300, and if I was implementing on for a small business what you're going to learn today, I would normally charge about £2,500 £3,000. So this is a masterclass in what we're going to learn about. The topic, I think, is around AI agents. You need to think about agents as human labor. You need to think that they are going to be doing the work. You need to give them direction. You need to give them your judgment. You need to give them creative direction. You're the leader. You need to tell them what they need to do, and then they will just go and do it. So we're very fortunate to have Arif Khan Saab with us again for part two. Ex Goldman Sachs, ex Deutsche Banker, elite level, I would say, in this area. Um, and yeah, inshallah, please do put as many questions as you can and into the chat. And yeah, let's begin. Arif Saab, welcome to Sanato Tijarat Talks. Welcome back. You're a regular with us, so welcome. Bismillah Gareh.
Thanks. Yeah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you for having me back again. And the idea of this, really, the topic of AI and how to use it, it can't be covered in one session. So I appreciate the Sanato Tijarat team allowing me to do these follow-up sessions. We're trying to layer on some of the ideas to build on the previous learning. So yeah, let me share my screen and I'll get straight into it if that's okay.
Please.
Oh. So we'll do a very brief recap of where we got to last week as well, just to remind everyone, and in case anyone missed it. We talked about 5 different areas where we can look to implement some AI. We talked specifically around marketing, doing some, how you kind of generate content in a more automated way, a more scaled way. We talked about AI administrator to help with admin tasks like emails, etc. We talked about AI researcher, we talked about training, and we also talked about business partner that can help with strategy. So last week we covered some prompts from ChatGPT. We introduced a tool called Notebook LM, where you could upload your documents, your sources, and it would automatically generate infographics, quizzes, etc. And we highlighted that no coding was required. This week I want to build on that and go in a slightly different direction. So I want to talk about AI agents, but also I want to talk about Google's AI Studio really and explain why people are getting very excited about how quickly you can build apps or agents. So we're going to go through a couple of examples that I've put together. And again, even though the name AI Studio sounds very, technical, and in some cases it is, there's a lot of code behind it, you still do not require any coding experience to be able to follow along and to build the apps that I've built. I'm going to show you no coding was required by me. Just a reminder of the scenario that I'm doing here. So I've mentioned this fictitious company called Greenleaf Landscaping. It's basically a family-owned business that does landscaping in South London. And this is just an example that I've used to try and bring things to life a little bit. Some of the challenges around Greenleaf Landscaping is too much admin. It takes us slow quotation turnaround time, not much marketing activity, and staff knowledge is also scattered across the business. One thing I'll mention as well is after I've shown a few examples, I'm going to take you through 3 examples. We also have another guest from the Sanato Tijarat team under the technology division, which I'm also serving in, Sayed Saqib Saab, and he will be talking about an example from his own business. So, hopefully he's on the call. And yes, he will be able to share an example where he's used some AI. Actually, I won't spoil the surprise, but that will not be an example company like I'm doing. That'll be a real life company that he's running and where he's leveraged AI to do something quite impressive. I only saw this yesterday morning, and it was such a good example that I begged him to please come along to this session and share his example with the audience. So that's the plan for the session. So to start with, let me just introduce what Google AI Studio is. So it's basically an application where you can build apps. Now we're going to go through an example, and I'm going to explain what's different about it. The main thing here, though, is previously, if I needed an app to be created, so let's talk about a specific app. We have a problem in our business. We already know here we've got this thing around. It takes too long to provide quotations. So that's a real problem for our business. We've had customer feedback as well saying it takes too long. So if the first thing I'm going to look at is, can I build an application that will allow me to automatically quote or generate quotes very quickly? Now, traditionally, that would have taken me, I would have had to hire a software engineer. They would have to build a website, a web application, or they would have to, maybe if it's a mobile phone app, they would have to write some code. They would have to understand system design. They would have to understand the capabilities. They'd have to go off and write some code. It can take weeks, potentially months, and cost thousands of pounds to build something specifically. The world we are entering now, and we're in now, is products like Google AI Studio, and others are available as well. All of the major AI companies now have their own app building platform. They allow you to work in a different way. They allow you to describe the app that you want. Literally, so here it would come and you would say, describe, the app that you would like, and then you would hit go, and effectively the AI would understand what you're trying to do. It will build out a plan, and it will generate the code and build the application for you. And that app can then be shared with other employees. I've not tried this one here, but I do see you can actually build an Android app, or there's no, the reason Android is first here is because Google own the Android ecosystem. So I'm pretty sure you could also try building apps for other platforms as well. But yeah, Android-based app to run on your phone. So these tools allow you to do that without being technical. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that and how it works. So the first example we're going to do is around what I just said, the landscape gardening. Now, because they take a little while to run, only 5 minutes, I've run these in advance, but I'm going to show you the exact steps that I use to do it. There was no additional coding required. Exactly the steps I show will be the steps I use to run it. So this is what I said. I basically I said, I want you to build an app that generates quotes for Greenleaf landscaping customers. The input will be either a voice note from WhatsApp, which I think is the modern way people exchange information, or an SMS or an email. I need the app to create a professional looking quotation. And I've said, use the pricing guide I've uploaded, take the logo file as well. And then I've added this one crucial requirement, is that if a user should be able to review and edit the items before the quote is fully generated. So you can imagine an email comes, if it does it automatically, a human might need to check it, adjust it. For example, if the person has said it's a small patio, but actually, we think based on the details, or we speak to someone and say actually it's medium, we might need to adjust that. In fact, that's the exact example I mentioned here as well. So this is all I told it in terms of what I wanted in terms of the app. And then I had 2 uploads. One was the pricing guide, which is the same pricing guide we used last time, which has, let me see if I've got that, I can bring it up. And then the second thing was the logo that we used from last time as well, which actually we used, if you remember, we used AI to generate even the logo. So this was all I did. There was no coding. I hit go. And then I did this, I hit run. AI Studio, I should have said this at the start. This is a free offering again from Google. They allow you to create 2 applications for free and host them and have them run. And then if you want a third one, that's the point at which you might start needing to pay. So this is a free offering as well. I just want to emphasize that. Okay, so I hit run and it goes through these steps. Now you can either sit and go through these and understand it and try and understand it, or you can ignore this completely and just look at the output. But it does go through a full audit and steps in terms of what it's building, the steps it's going to take, the different files. And this is what it gave me. It said it's created this app and it's highlighted what the key features are. You can send a voice note using the browser, the microphone. You can also do text mode where it will take in an SMS. What else has it got? It's mentioning which model it's using. It said it's given me an inline editor so I can review the quote and make changes as well. And then further down as well, it's got information around the other things it's applied here as well. And then finally, it will allow me to create a PDF with an output. And then it's also just highlighting this is the pricing guide it's used, in terms of the file that I uploaded. So it's got the different services we offer as a business and the different rates as well. So let me show you. So this is the output of the app. Right, let's actually try it as well. So if I click this. In fact, I think I've got a demo. All right, I'm going to see if this will work whilst I'm also on a Zoom call. It might not, but I'm going to try and dictate this in here. So let me just bring up my price list as a reminder for me. All right. I would like you to create a quote from Mr. Sumit Patel. He lives at number 12 Wood Street, CR4 in Mitcham. The service we want to offer him is a lawn mowing for a medium-sized lawn, and also patio cleaning for a large-sized patio. Okay, so I'm going to hit stop, and now that recording I did is now in the. I can hear it back, and then I'm just going to hit this button, generate professional quote. And then you can see here it's saying it's processing, it's running. And I was impressed how fast this was when I just ran that. So wow, this has already picked up the details, right? So it's got the name, it's got the address that I gave it. It's already given me this preview with the person's name and address. I didn't expect it to be that fast, I'll admit. And then these are the items it picked up from that voice note. So I've got lawn mowing, medium size. That looks good to me. And then also item 2, patio cleaning, large. Yeah, and it's got items from our pricing list. What's also good is it's taken in that requirement I gave it about being able to edit this if I needed to, so I can make changes. And the app is already smart enough to know if I changed it to small, what the price should be. And also the PDF over here is also like updating, which is, again, I'm impressed by that. So I also have the option if I needed to add additional items as well. So it's kept the ability for me to edit that. So I just want to explain, previously, if someone was to create this website like this, what you're seeing on your screen here, it would take a software engineer several weeks to do this. Now, they're not always perfect. There may be issues with this. There may be bugs in the first version. You might click something and it might not work. But you can always go back to the conversation that you're having. And if I can get the right tab, I moved it over to the screen. You can always go back and tell it what's working, what's not working. So if there was a specific feature that wasn't working, I'd be able to write it in here. If I wanted add a new feature where I can provide the details by uploading a photo, for example, you would just be able to put that, hit go. That would be just a follow-on prompt. It would go and update the same application. For those who might be interested as well, behind the scenes, this is a normal application. So if I click code, you'll see that it has the normal like website information here. There are details about like this is what the AI is doing. It's actually in the background generating all of the required code. So previously someone would have to either create this or use tools to create this, but all of that is being taken away. And you're now in a world where you can create an application like this in a few minutes. And then you have the option then to deploy this. You can publish this, which will then allow you to share a link with people, and others can use it if you want to do that. So within your company, for example, you could quickly make this available and share it around. So I'll be honest, I'm impressed with how quick that was to do and how quick that was to run as an example. So that was the first example I wanted to show. Let me move on to a second one, which was around, this one is around similar concept, but this one was around marketing. So if I scroll to the first top, you can kind of see the initial quote I gave it. This one I had to do a few more. Okay, now this one is interesting because I actually used AI to even generate the instructions about what I wanted in terms of this app. So you don't have to do it this way. But I was working with the AI to say, I want to do something around marketing, give me some ideas for what an app could look like, a good app could look like for a demo. So in this one, I asked it, it's a marketing-based app. And the idea was that it would allow me to provide take an image, use that to create content for different channels. So a multi-channel marketing application. And effectively, the channels I was interested in were, I would want a flyer, I would want an email, and also social media content. So that, again, it generated this whole application. And if I just go to full screen, this was generated. It allows you to drop any kind of image in here, choose the location that you want just to make it easier. It had these like quick select options, but I could change that to say, let me enter anything. The AI itself suggested 4 different campaigns. So it suggested that it would be good to have some early summer marketing campaigns around gardening, some around midsummer where it's more maintenance, some for late autumn or late summer or autumn, and some around spring. So based on what you select here, you get a different kind of messaging as well. So you would upload this information and hit generate. I'll show you, I think it's already generated one here. So here is one it generated for this was for Mitcham. So it's taken this kind of ad, this image, it's created an ad version for you there. It's then provided a flyer that I can print out where it's talked about Mitcham specifically. And it's come up with this idea of a discount code. I click client email. If email was a channel you wanted to do as well, the same app has now created this kind of like email for us. And also, lastly, it's had a go at creating a social media campaign as well. So it's got Instagram campaign, it's got a pre-written Facebook campaign as well for this specific area I'd selected, and then also generated a couple of previews of how you could combine the visual asset it created along with some text. So we've got two different variations of that. This, I think, is the Facebook ad. And then this is the Instagram ad, and you can see based on this. So just again, to give you an idea, like this was a application where I said, I want to create social media. These are the channels I'm thinking of. Here is some information about the actual business, and create me an app for doing this. And it's kind of created this. Once this is created, it can be reused. Last week, I focused very much on prompting. You'd write a prompt, you'd get an output. You'd write another prompt, you'd get another output. Here, you're using AI to create an application in this example, and then the application is available for you to then, use as you need. You don't have to go back and reprompt it. You could publish this and you could save this. It also built some additional things I didn't even ask it to do as well. So it's got some information around an asset library where you could upload more files for it to choose from. And it also has a section around analytics, just showing that you can use these tools to also get information about performance. So if you were able to download your ad data from the different platforms, if you have that information, or if you have any info about how many people are clicking onto your website, you would be able to download, say, an Excel file and put it into one of these tools, and it can provide you, analysis on which of the areas that are performing well. So this is just to give you a taster for some of the things that are possible with these apps. I'm going to show one last app then.
Before you do that, Khansab,
yes, go ahead.
Is this for this ad campaign?
Yep.
Is this the prompt on the left that you wrote? What did you write for it to create all of this stuff? This bit.
Yeah, that is a good question, and it was a little bit more complex on this one. Just exit out full screen mode. Okay, so yeah, this is the actual prompt I put into the AI tool, but I do want to say this is much longer, but this was generated itself by AI, which is a little bit confusing. Let me see
So you asked it to create a prompt that will create a campaign. So you are an expert. Build a complete functional single-page web application. So this is the web. Named the landscaping neighbor envy campaign engine. Okay, so you asked AI.
Let me show you. Let me show you. 1 second. All right, here we go. So I was using Gemini, and I let me just scroll up to where it was. I uploaded the slide I did last time, which had the 5 agents, and I was basically brainstorming with Gemini here, which is just another AI tool. It's a Google one, about what are some of the ideas that I could do. So from a marketing point of view, it first of all suggested this idea. So it was basically came up with an idea around maximizing the value of your existing customers, and it talked about like having an email campaign, etc. It gave me an idea, and then I went back and said, okay, I would like you, first of all, we're going to do this one around the quote generation, which I showed earlier. So it kind of did that, and I went through some back and forth there. Okay, so then I was like, all right, give me 2 more ideas I can do after that. So this is the one. This marketing app, I think, is the one where it was started to suggest, have something that generates a web app that generates a series of different types of content. And then I went through a few back and forths,
Okay,
and
great.
then
And that sounds great. And it sounds like you didn't type anything in. You just talk to your computer. You
exactly,
hit the
exactly.
mic where it says "Ask Gemini." You hit the mic. Just said, "Okay, I've got a demo. Help me come up with some ideas. What do you think of this?" And then it came back, and so you're just talking to your computer.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And this was the one where I said, okay, give me prompts to put into AI Studio. The reason this works really well with Gemini is because Gemini and AI Studio are both Google products. So when I told it, now give me a prompt, this is based on its conversation to put into AI Studio, it understands exactly what Google AI Studio requires. So it output this, and I was able to literally copy that, put it into my other tool, and paste it. And that's my starting point for the app.
Thank you.
Good question, though. Excellent. All right, the third one. So this one was related to your location. All right. So this one, I think. Let's see. I think I tried running it. I did. I tested it just before this session, and I think it gave me an error, which is very good, and because it shows the real world. All right. It looks like it might have fixed the error as well. It's interesting. So the idea of this one was, if you have some building work to do, you want to be able to find where you can find the supplies, and then also different regions, different councils have different regulations around, you can do in terms of safe working. So this was not an area of my expertise, but this was something AI suggested that, as a contractor, as a trader, there's certain regulations you need to be aware of. And then there's also, you might need to work out where you can source specific material. So to help with this demo, it gave me a few example ones that I can just paste in. So different types of, I don't even know what that is. Wood, I think it is. Sleeps, might know better. And then I'm just going to tell it, which is the location that it's in. Let's see. This is a specific one. I think.
Yeah, different trees they are.
Different trees. Excellent. All right. So I've given it a postcode of where I'm based, and I've hit run, and it's come back very quickly. So what it's now doing is it's worked out that you're based in Edinburgh, and based on that, it's looked at different places where it could it could source the material. And then also some sample prices. Now this, I should say, this here is a demo. Like, this is not real data. I did it to be able to show you quickly, but you could it could be easily changed to be a live environment, a live app that went and got from the website or from your existing suppliers. And then also we've got this local council alert. So here you've got information around in terms of local regulations that you should be aware of, that it's kind of called out as well. And it's also created something around some advice related to procurement as well. So a different kind of an application. If this was being used by people in the field, I could imagine they would be able to list out what they need and get their location if it's a mobile app, and hit go, and it could find like the best prices. So just another different type of application that you could use for your business.
Brilliant.
All
Brilliant.
right. Any questions we want to touch in the chat?
Yeah, I've got some questions, and the questions are not really for you, Arif Saab. This is for everybody that's listening, and I want everybody to think about, if you had to come up. So what I want you to think about, what's stopping you from building a business, an AI enhanced business, whether it's a new one or adding to your own. What is, from the people here, is it, do you not have an idea? Do you not know where to start? Do you not know what do you need? Do you know what's possible? So, just put in the chat if anybody's got any questions around what's blocking people from building a business or using this for your business, so we know how, so we can help answer those questions. And whilst we're waiting, I would suggest just playing with these tools, giving it, say, 6 weeks to mess around, play, see what works, what not, build up your confidence before you use it in anger, before you use it actually for your business. And then I'm just going to start going through the questions. Sarkib from Lancaster, please can you send the recording for us to watch again, as it's too much information to absorb in a short time? So the answer is yes. Imran Saab will post on to YouTube, as all our talks go on to YouTube. Somebody's answered that already. Every talk's already there. Okay, Zafar is asking, I don't know where to start to help in enhancing solid leads for my mortgage finance business. And Kashif's asking, I've built 3 different apps, but have not been able to take the next step of scaling or publishing. Arif Saab, how would you answer Zafar Saab? I don't know where to start to help in enhancing solid leads for my mortgage finance business.
Yeah, I think the next example that Sakib Saab's going to show is more around like data analysis, but that might be a good way. Is like the one good way is just like, what are the tasks you're doing right now? What do you already know about your business? Like put it into AI. Say to the AI, this is the size of my business. Here's my last year's accounts. I want to grow the business. Ask me questions that you would to help answer the question around how to grow my business. You can work with it in a collaborative way. Even just saying that, I don't know where to start to help in enhancing my business about mortgage finance, mortgage/finance. What do you need from me to be able to help me with some advice? Like that could be literally a prompt.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I asked it recently, help me expand my business,
Yeah,
and it suggested, okay, have you try these Facebook ads? This will cost this much. Try these Google leads, and it said this is what your competitors are doing. These are
yeah.
the free magnets we can create for you. We'll create a website for you. We'll create a like a some tools that will draw people in. It will generate articles, and it will tell you, and it will help you create those um, elements for you, Kashif Saab.
See if we can
I
run
know
that one
that's
in the
Zafar
background.
Saab. Sorry.
Yeah. So just to show you, like here, I've just run that quote. So here you go. I've said that I have a mortgage finance business. Ask whatever you need. So it's already started to kind of um, talk to me about different options, different things. And this is without even explaining too much about the mortgage side of it. So it will give you some ideas, but you can go back and say, like, that doesn't make sense. This is the size of my business. Like, start a conversation. It's really good for brainstorming ideas.
Um, Kashif Saab's asking, I've built 3 different apps, but have not been able to take the next step of scaling and publishing.
Yeah. So the question would be, what have you built those apps in? And then who do you need to publish them to? Is this an app you're trying to put in the market to sell to people, or is it your own employees? If you're doing it within Google Studio, most of these applications or these systems do have a way to publish and have others grab the link. And they're pretty scalable. It depends how many users you're talking about. For small businesses, like 50, 100 users should be no problem in terms of the performance of the app as well. So, and again, that's another good thing to put into Google is like, hey, now you've built this app. How would I scale this? Can I run this at scale? Like, what would I need to change to the architecture? You can get advice that way, or I'm happy to advise as well. Or there's others in the team and in the Jamaat who can advise in terms of if you really want to scale it.
Arif, if I may answer that.
Please do.
Right.
Welcome,
I think
welcome.
Salcom, right? Now, one of the ways that to publish those things as well are in terms of, first of all, you apart from going for the iOS and Android, if you have already played around those areas, it will be much better to get it validated from somebody who's already done and published those ads. And now, we can suggest, and our company also has published a few ads. I'll just show you that as well. And then that gives us a scenario in terms of what are those gaps that you actually mitigate. Because the AI is, again, it's a tool. It's learning by itself, right? So now we need to actually make sure that we add the human element where we are able to look at the steps, but try it on. Now, sometimes it's very difficult for somebody who is non-techie or techie as well, that they would make mistakes. That's where the community actually helps. I mean, there are multiple, communities in terms of iOS or Android. Apart from that one, we are here again, as Arif Saab said. So we have a technology division that we can actually try and look at it and suggest you at least a path in terms of, how it can be published and what are the ways.
Exactly. Thanks. What an entrance into the SOT talk that was. Yeah, excellent. if they're mobile apps, right? That's the question. So, Kashif Sub, if you want to just give us more information, like, is this a mobile app, or is this, like, nowadays the word app can mean so many different things? So it'd be good to know what kind of app, right? I think so. Keeps up great timing, because now, if I'd love to now hand over to you to share the bits you've been doing. But to start with, if you could just give a bit of background about yourself, your business as well, that'd be really useful. Exactly.
Right. So, Anamila, I've been, I come from Bangalore. That's my origin. But I've been living in UAE for about 20 years. Moved to the UK about a little over a year now. In terms of what we do, I've been into IT consulting for about 20 plus years. I have my own firm in the UAE for running there with 15 plus years. In terms of what we do, let me just pull up the screen as well as we talk.
Just conscious, Saqib Sir, that we've only got a few minutes left. So I understand you had a demo that you wanted to walk us through.
But that's going to take just a few minutes, Salim bhai. Right. In terms of what we used to do is in the UAE part, it was very different from what we are doing here in the UK. So everything to do with the digital infrastructure division. The screen is visible, right?
Yeah. Can we?
Yeah. Okay.
Saqib Sir, can we just go straight to the agent that you built, please?
All right. Fine. So in terms of, let me start with this example in terms of what it does and how it is. In fact, even this website is actually built completely from an AI. So this is what we have done. So this is in terms of time attendance application, which is also called a workforce management, and it's now become a full-fledged platform. The problem areas was very simple in terms of managing the workforce attendance. Multiple people have either the biometric or the facial recognition devices or the proxy cards. They also have a HR system in place. So we were trying and doing this particular project for one of the UAE government, where none of these systems would talk to each other. The only thing what we did is we came up with a solution in terms of how we could unify all these logs, give it to them in terms of a dashboard that could actually talk to any of these hardware or any of these softwares. So all these integrations is something that what we have already done with our app alone. Now coming back to in terms of what we have done, I was just showing RFI in terms of one of the ways of how we have actually tried is to build like an ROI calculator. Right. So this is again, a way of where we started engaging in to customers more proactively, rather than just telling what actually the software does or what are these features it has. We started giving them a different idea in terms of we started showing them what is the return of investment that they are actually going to get and what are the pain areas. Like for example, even if you're talking about this is to do with the UAE part, where we have their compliance and their risks. What does the GCC regulation and the standard and other things fall into? Then we also tried and did like a drag and drop kind of a scenario. And this, I'm a no coder, right? So I've done everything related to an AI, and this runs. So I'm just trying and putting these things around, and accordingly it will tell you what is the kind of saving, what is the kind of ROI, and what is the kind of risk that the company is actually holding, and what is the kind of payback that you're kind of getting. Similarly, in terms of the UK as well. So this took about, this is like about the version 7. So initially when I started was completely with a very basic kind of a thing. And then I started giving those prompts by saying, pick up this particular data. I started validating the data and then starting looking at it. In terms of the UK part, let me just show you so that this is more applicable here. So UK governance again, right? So when you're talking about the Work Time Regulation Act that are there, and what are the kind of penalties that are there, what are the things. So we started putting it across, like you select an industry, you're sitting with a customer, you select an industry, pick up the number of employees that they have, pick up the number of field staff that they have, and average salary. whatever it is, the kind of admin hours that you're using to do your time and attendance, the kind of payroll errors that would come. And we also have the statistics that says that, minimum payroll errors that every company makes is, a minimum of 12. Even if we realistically try and put it across to half or to their, it's a way of engaging the customer, putting it across to them and showing them what does this do, and again your price band as well. So even if you're talking about, you selling it for about £10, what is the kind of ROI that you're going? They're going getting a payback within a month. So these are the kind of tools that what we can actually go ahead and have it completely free.
Jazakallah. Thank you, Sakib Sahab. That's really useful, really informative. I'm just going to answer, and that leads into Amijan is asking, how can I use this to enhance my customers in plumbing and heating? And Sakib Saab's calculator is a perfect example. So you could ask, even for plumbing and heating, you could ask AI to create a calculator, and let them feed in whatever the customer can feed in, and it will generate a rough order of magnitude of a value, and then they'll call you, they'll get in touch. And for that, if you want more customers in plumbing and heating, you could get an AI to say, right, I want contact all my previous customers, ask them for a review. You could say automatically send them an update once a month. You could say contact them, give them a £20 off or a £20 if they refer another customer. So providing them a concierge service using that, customers that you've already got. But again, as Arif Saab mentioned, asking AI how you would generate more business. And thank you very much, Imran Saab, for the poll. I don't think we have any more questions. Thank you, Sakib Saab. That's fantastic demo of an enterprise level calculator. And I think that is a wrap. So, Jazakallah Arif Saab, that was amazing. Thanks, Sakib Saab. That was amazing. And unless anybody has any final questions, we'll say salam until next week. Jazakallah. Thanks, everyone. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, thanks. We had a question potentially. No, false alarm. All right. Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz.